Hey everyone, today I'm going to review the top moving apps for 2025. There are so many different apps out there that you can use to make your move a lot more cost effective. I, for one, am always looking for ways to save money on all of these processes, so I'm going to review the things that worked for me. So let me just start up front with Move Buddha. Now, I wish I had had this service decades ago and years ago and months ago for all of my different moves. I only stumbled upon it in the last year, and it basically puts together everything that I used to do by hand and that my parents used to do by hand and my grandparents before them. So generations of doing it the hard way, and now you have all of these options here. And I'm going to look at two key things, and that is going to be the moving cost calculator right here and then the boxing calculator. So these are where you start. Let's say we're moving from Eugene, Oregon to Jersey City, and we have a move next month for a 2-bedroom. When I click on this, it tells me exactly what I can expect and what the differences are. So if you've never moved before, professional move. This is also called full service. They load, they drive, they unload, and they help put it all back together. Container shipping. You load, they drive. Freight shipping. You load, they drive. Different options here based on the size. And then, of course, all the DIY options where you might be doing things yourself just part of the time. You might be packing all your goods and then you hire local labor to help you load everything into your container or into the freight shipment. Now here you'll get these estimates that you can see, and this is based on all of those factors, right? When you're moving, where you're moving, and the different types of moving services. They even include things like rental trucks. If you're just going to rent a truck from, let's say, Budget Truck Rental and move it yourself. And it tells you what is here, what is included with each of these, and then gives you options as well as reviews. Now, I want to be very clear that I get these quotes for cost right here without having to put in any information. I don't have to put in my email. I don't have to put in my phone number. Why is that? Because this calculating tool is not a lead gen form, which is what basically every other estimating tool out there is. So with every other tool, you'll never get to this part right here. You'll never get the actual estimates unless you put in your phone number and your email address, at which point a sales individual will harass the living crap out of you. And you don't want that, speaking from personal experience. Now, the other option they have here is this moving box calculator. So this, I assure you, is something you're absolutely going to need. No one ever thinks that they actually need 50 boxes for their house, but most of the time you need even more than that. So this is based on the number of rooms. So we're going with 4 and the number of people, 3, average packer. It's going to tell me approximately how many different sized boxes I need and their respective costs. So this, again, is not a lead gen form. It's not here to get you to buy things. It's just here to really help you pack. Here I can just download a PDF, hooray, and then it's there, and I have that form. Now, what am I going to do with that form and all the other forms that I no doubt will stumble upon when I'm comparing different services, or once I've picked the service provider and I need to make sure that I have all of our signed contracts? Well, personally, I'm going to put them in Evernote. Evernote lets me plan things. I can upload documents. I can scan all the receipts. When I'm on the road driving from one hotel to the next, just trying to make it to the new city, every time I stop for gas, every time I get an invoice from a hotel, all of those can be scanned and uploaded. I can even turn it into to-do lists. So I can add things like text, I can add images, I can upload something, I can scan it, I can put an audio file, I can add a PDF that I get from here. And all of that stays in one place. That is invaluable, especially if you are doing any type of military or work-related move that has relocation assistance or reimbursement, because you'll need to see how much things are costing and make sure that you have the documentation to prove it. In terms of your personal goods, I'd go with Sortly. I really like that they have inventory management. Now, this is designed for businesses up front, but it can be used for you as well. Use cases are for businesses and tracking supplies, but you can actually use it to track your personal goods. Now, if you're just getting started, you can use the free version. This lets you add unique items. If you have more than one person you really want to incorporate and you have more than 100 unique items, then you're going to end up paying. but you probably don't need it for very long. So choose the monthly plan and then you can cancel when you're done. And of course, any forms that you generate based on this inventory can go right back here. Now, if you are doing any type of DIY move, you're going to need help at some point, and that means finding local labor. Local labor can be anything. I will tell you that I am terrible at, let's say, mounting, keeping things level while also trying to do the math to hang pictures the right way, while also dealing with the kids who won't stop asking for help. I'm just bad at that, even without all those distractions, and I'm especially bad at it with them. So I might hire someone to do that, whether it's hanging our really heavy mirrors, mounting the TV, or installing new shelves. But you can find local labor to help you clean. We did a move once where we showed up and no one had warned us that the previous occupant was a smoker. Everything was disgusting, everything smelled, so we didn't get to just unload. We had to hire cleaners, and we used this service to help find cleaning services right away before we moved in to do a deep clean. And then we hired more help for moving so that they could help us get rid of the trash that was left behind, haul away the junk that was left in the basement, and unload the moving truck. So this is a great place to find local services. And of course, you see here, assembly provided for IKEA furniture. So if you have a lot of IKEA furniture and this is one of your first few moves, this will be great for you. Nextdoor is hit or miss. I have loved it in the past. It is also a comparable place to find local labor, especially if you're looking more for, kids in the community who might be looking for part-time work or weekend work, trying to save for college or something. That's what we found a lot of when we were first using it. I can't stress this enough, hit or miss. There was the regular version that I stumbled upon in the past, and it had all the resources I needed. It was a very nice, helpful community where people gave alerts, particularly about natural disasters in the winter, big heavy snowstorms, and where people would make recommendations for local services, for local labor, for local movers, for the right type of homeowners insurance for people moving in, recommendations on which products to use based on the type of home you had, cleaning products, things of that nature. So it was all very supportive. I have since moved to areas where it was the opposite of that and mostly just a cesspool of humanity. So tread lightly here. You'll definitely know if you're in the cesspool or not. And then finally, Updater. If you are doing any kind of long haul move, it can be very difficult to manage things like this when you transfer your utilities, when they have to start, when they have to stop, when you want things turned off, when you need things turned on at the new location, when you need to update your license or registration, how you need to change your address when it comes not just to USPS but to subscriptions and the like. So this service makes it very easy. If you're moving, you sign up, you put in your email, you put in your move date, and then it helps you with all of these things right here. It was very useful forwarding mail, making sure that we had utilities and the like set up and turned off exactly when we needed. So I would honestly recommend all of these apps. If not, you can use one or two. If you're going to pick one out of all of them to save time and money and give you the best value, go with the moving cost calculator from MoveBuddha. There is absolutely no lead gen here. It is easy to use, very simple. I can see exactly what my costs are going to be, and that's where you need to start, is comparing which types of moving services will work. And if you are not using a full service move, then you might need something like TaskRabbit or Nextdoor to get help with moving services, local labor that can help you just for 1 or 2 days. As you're preparing to move, even if you are using a full service move, you'll want to make sure you have personal inventory. And in fact, inventory for your home can make it easier for you to get a more accurate estimate. So start with something like Sortly to keep track of your goods. Keep all of that information, including the PDFs for the moving costs and your personal inventory, here in Evernote, along with any other receipts you gather, any other information you have, including your to-do lists, which you can generate from Updater with regard to changing over your utilities and making sure you forward your mail.